today for some reason. I think it's dead. I think there's big splotches of it dead now.
I think 40 acres is dead to me. It hasn't been for quite some time.
What did it start yellow or what did it do?
Started yellow. Yeah.
I think they're letting all that fertilizer leached out right off the bat. That rain.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pretty blue yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of places that are dark. Plus those hairs.
So past blue.
But this is huge. It was giant.
South of Taiwan.
You got deals.
I've heard today.
The east and then south.
See, this ain't like yours.
Oh, you got one?
Mouse and everything.
Oh.
But it's not any different than this thing.
Oh, you don't like it?
Well, no, it's okay.
Here, just take that off and it'll look just like mine.
Yeah.
That's the keyboard scaring you.
But see, this don't have a keyboard up here.
It'll go up there if you take it
Yeah,
out.
you can.
You can?
Yeah, you
Well,
can.
don't be screwing with it.
You say you can still be on. On these, we were just doing one signature.
That's because when we were doing the report, but I went and talked to a lot of the other clerks, and they're having, legally, we should be signing every single one of them.
By all the commissioners. See, we've
No,
got.
no, no, just by you as the chairman,
Okay.
signing each of them.
Okay. Yeah,
So there
okay,
was
you're
just a
right.
few of them missed.
Did I miss a few of those? Each
Yeah.
page then, not
Yes.
just the title page? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's the abatements from last week.
And then we got
there's
a
some
new,
more here,
yes,
just like
there's some
today.
new ones. And I did let Matt know that he should be coming in. If you guys have questions.
That's what you were doing last week. Payroll, can I get a motion for that? In the amount of $124,954.17.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah. Somebody.
All in favor?
Well, this must be this is for the deal down here on Main Street. Patterson.
Oh, that. Old Napa building. Did we make motions to approve these minutes, or are these just corrected?
Those are the corrected
Okay,
ones.
so we still need a motion to approve December 6th, 2021 meeting minutes. Can I get a motion for that? All in favor? And then December 14th minutes from that meeting, they've been corrected. Can I get a motion to approve those?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And
What was the
then,
last one you just approved?
those were the minutes from December 14th.
And then it's the 21st, right?
Yep, we did the 21st, we've got those right there, the 21st there. We've got transfer to correct the clerk's AP voucher coding error on 12/17/21 remittance. The employee social security Medicare remitted from payroll clearing fund, not AR. So what happened is, I assume, is they decided that they could go ahead and pay employee benefits out of that.
We could pay the employer portion, just not the employee portion. So that's just a transfer to correct and pay it out of the.
Okay. Because originally we thought we couldn't pay for any
Yes.
of that, and so this is correcting that. And it's the amount of $11,916.73. You guys understand what that is?
That's
No,
what
not really.
So the hazard pay,
They have.
when that came across last week, remember I was asking Amy about that? And all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute, why are we paying employee benefits from that?
Okay, yeah, I talked to Shonda a little bit about
Okay,
that.
and so this is to correct that.
So we didn't have to, or we still have to?
We have to pay,
A portion, only because it all is subject to CAPER, so the CAPER's employee portion, we could charge to, the COVID money, and this is for the employee portion that we could not.
Okay.
makes sense?
Yeah,
Okay, you go okay. I don't need a motion, just need to be okay if you guys have consensus to sign. You guys have a chance to go over the minutes?
I had one question.
going down right now.
Okay.
Well, on the part where Tracy came in, don't we want to put something in there about the jail? Or not?
Yeah, if you want to, that way it's,
I mean, him with the department, we need to put that in the minutes, because he's wanting to put down tax school.
right, that way it shows up so people know if they discuss that they said it hurt. So you want Kelsey to add that in there?
Yeah. I think we ought to have it in there. We maybe want
So you wanna add about,
the jail, about,
Okay.
he wanted me to put that on the ballot for this year.
okay,
I'm already in here about that too.
It's all right, but you talked about it, when you have it in there, you right? You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard some on it too.
okay,
There's a couple other deals in here too. So there's a period missing on that one down there. It says Commissioner Strubel motion to approve accounts payable in the amount of, what is it, $182,941. That needs a period.
oh, yep,
There's a part in there about EMS. EMS part needs capitalized, and I think there was something else in there. In that same paragraph, I gotta remember where that was at.
I think that was when Shonda, or was it just me?
I can't remember.
No, she did different one.
And then there was one there where I made a motion for something that got rescinded. I don't know that I would have made a motion for a dollar amount, something. As chair, I usually try to make motions, I stick to motions of a recess or an executive session if I want. So I'm not sure that I made that motion for -887. I may have entertained a motion for that, but I don't think I made that motion. Because typically with that type of stuff like that,
I remember that, yeah.
so you may have to go back and see the video on that. Well, where is that?
Actually, I think Darren made that motion on that,
That was for the money that we did wrong
on that abatement.
on the,
Right.
yeah, on the, it was 1,000 something instead.
Right.
Okay,
Where's that at? There's something about EMS I saw, that EMS should be capitalized, and there was something next to that. Maybe, did Amy come discuss something? Because there was a part in there about Amy, and the thing that she goes to, the SHRM meeting. It's not SHERM, it's SHRM, I think is what that
Okay.
abbreviation is for that deal. And those are all capitals, but there's somewhere in there about EMS, I can't remember where that was at. EMS and then something else with that. That's the only corrections I had for those. You good?
Other than the jail thing, I'm good with it.
Okay. You're still.
No, I've already been over, I'm just going over it.
Okay. Matt, you wanna come on up? Pretty please?
And the bigs,
Yeah,
get them out of the way first.
sure.
Okay.
I guess, no, you're on the agenda, aren't you?
Yeah, for 9:30.
Okay.
So, out of the way though, you got 5 minutes.
Okay. We'll make it quick then.
We're staying on cue today.
Yeah, so we got abates, gas total is 185.52 negative. Oil, is 14 cents negative. Real estate's the big one, it's 7,275.
That's the building on Main Street.
Yeah, yep,
I went through and looked at it.
yep. Trucks, we have a negative 93.74, $93.74. I guess I should separate that because it makes it sound like 9,000 if I don't. Just a little bit more on the real estate property. With the name change of ownership name, they had to apply for an exemption. We went through, they had to send that off to the Board of Tax Appeals. And there's a lag in there. And what happened was I certified the values. We went in and made the changes after we got the order, but there was a mix up in the communication of, they thought they would see those changes when it came from us, but I had already certified the values, so it wouldn't have changed. After doing some investigation, Kelsey and I found out that there's a box that we can check in the appraiser's office that says pending appeal. And so what that'll do is that'll show up on the report when she runs a report, when you guys get ready to set budgets, and they'll be like, you might not want to count this because there's an appeal pending.
Yeah.
So it's just something being both new to the system and that side of the system that we found out after the fact. But yeah, it kind of a lack of communication is where it occurred. That, I mean, you still would have had to refund it, but you would have known that going in setting the budget that you might be short that. But you'll get that report now from now on, because that's part of our standard operating procedures in the appraiser's office. We get first thing we do, in fact, when we get an order that I have to sign off before it goes to BOTA, is I'm going to go in and check that box before it's even mailed. So
Makes sense.
there you go.
Somebody was probably disappointed that their oil was only 14 cents.
I think what it ended up on that one, if I can look back, it was a transfer between ownerships of royalty, and we just couldn't get it to balance out exact. It was 14 cents off. So,
So do we need to do the same on that since it's a transfer like we did last time? But somebody's getting a negative and somebody's
No.
getting a positive?
actually, if I look, I was looking at this, that's a positive 14 cents. So somebody's getting an extra 14 cents.
Okay, but so we don't need to do like we did last time with that gas?
I think you have to approve it just because it's an ad, it changes your tax.
Right. Well, last time we gave somebody, remember on that gas deal last week, that gas well that somebody had, we had to make a negative in one place,
Sure.
off another because it was a transferred ownership? If this is a transferred ownership, that would be the same thing.
Yes, you're right, it would. Who is that?
It's an awful lot of work for 14 cents.
Yes, it is. And it costs us more to process it,
Yeah.
hours and
Yeah,
everything
that's what
else.
I said, an awful lot of work
Yeah.
for 14 cents. But-
Even though the software makes it fairly easy. So there's a negative 31. If you want to hold off on that, I can research that more. And
Well, I'm just saying that it's a transfer though, Matt, you see what I'm?
Yeah, no, I
It's the same-
exactly know what you're saying.
Not that it really matters on 14 cents.
But legally, you probably should do that.
Probably need to do like the gas was last week.
And I guess really technically, you're not approving the total overall, you're approving each individual transfer. So if you just go through sheet by sheet and make a motion on each of the sheets, it'll balance out like it should, so.
Yeah, we've never done it like that before, but
Okay.
we usually just do the total.
You just did.
That might be it right
here.
there.
Yeah.
I'm shaking this morning for some reason.
No need to be nervous here.
No, I'm not nervous, I'm just,
You had your
I
call.
won't tell you what I think it is. Well, you know, Christmas and around a bunch of people and I'll have to to research that, guys, I'm not
We
sitting
just do
right
the
off the
totals,
top of
if
it.
that's, if the totals are right, that's what.
Yeah,
Right?
totals are right.
Okay, so for gas, we got a negative $185.52.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oil is a positive 14 cents.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Real estate, negative $7,275.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trucks, negative $93.74.
Aye. So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
Supposed to say quicker.
Yeah.
I jumped the gun.
Told you it is.
Oh.
All right, and Nat, you're up first then, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Sean
Road and
Sheena.
bridge.
Sheena. How are you, Sheena?
Oh, you know, it's Monday.
It's Monday, nobody wants to be here.
Christmas and,
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys have Friday off though, right?
Yeah.
Courthouse does, right?
Yeah, so I had too many days off in a row. Now I don't want to go.
I totally understand.
Where's the main man Mike at?
He had an appointment today. So you guys got that email from BNSF that I forwarded on Wednesday the 15th. I printed it off. That's easier. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I don't know that we have a choice on that, do we?
Well, he said, let me know if you're interested in pursuing it. So,
We did it already. I don't
I
have
printed
one.
it off and I printed off the attachment. There's just two different crossings that they're talking about, basically upgrading the crossing surface or resurfacing.
So are those crossings close to any of the bridges that we have out that will cause people issues with getting around?
I didn't eat that either. You send me 15?
I remember seeing all that in the intersections. I may have deleted it anyway because I thought, well, they're just gonna go ahead and do what they need to.
When did I send it to you guys? I sent it to you guys on the 20th.
20. You said it went on the 15th.
Because I sent it, that's what I got on the 15th, sent it to Mike,
There it
and
is,
sent it to
yeah.
you guys on the 20th.
So they're gonna close the road?
I mean, that's all I know is what they put in there. It's just the potential work of these crossings that they would like to discuss cooperation with us. So,
And northwest and 70 northwest?
yeah, and I haven't checked those crossings,
They just need us to close the road is all they're after, right?
potentially. I think they want to sit down and talk about it, and see if, we would do a cost share with them as far as upgrading
Nope.
any approaches or anything like that.
Nope.
So,
I didn't know that's what they meant by
well,
cooperating with them.
that's the thing, I'm not sure. All I know is what he sent me. He asked where he
Here,
gets his
cross-
info.
Upgrading crossing surface to concrete, resurfacing, oh, no, I don't have any desire to help the railroad.
no.
Do you, Jeff? I mean, you live up there by him, so.
This is northwest 70. Where's that? What road's that on? Is that off that road?
These are by Advocates where it says.
You know, they're never supposed to stop
they're
on this
around.
crossing since it's a dual track now. They stop all the time.
Northwest 70, northwest 80.
Oh, you don't have the tracks on there, do you? On that map?
Nope, it doesn't. Be somewhere up over here, wouldn't it? Northwest 80. Right? I got the right two roads?
It's gonna be on
80
the,
and 70, yeah. It says it's near Attica, but
Yeah. I can't tell you what those crossings look like. I haven't been up that way. I don't have any need to travel that way, but
it's not our responsibility to take care of
as I said, I can tell you that when it comes to working with the railroad, I don't know that I want to help spend any money for the railroad.
it. Let's see, upgrade crossing service to concrete. For servicing pavement approaches to traffic control road. Flagging and coordinate time in place, driving, signature, damage, construction. Don't they normally take care of their own crossings though?
Yeah, because we're not allowed to touch them or get anywhere close to them. We've had problems with some rough ones in the past. We told them we were going to fix it and get it straightened out, and they told us to stay away from it, so.
gotcha. So you guys are down to coordinate as far as traffic control,
If we
Yeah,
don't-
but other
Should we
than
need to
that,
shut
we
the
don't.
road?
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I don't think we have the budget to help.
We got a place to spend money. We got plenty of bridges to work on.
The KDOT detour, he called and talked to me. They are pushing their letting date. They formerly anticipated a February letting for their project, which would be an April-May start date. And they've pushed it back to a June letting with spring of 2023 as their anticipated start date. So it's basically a whole year. He was wondering if that would change the requirements of the agreement as far as you guys are concerned. I told him probably not. You guys would still basically want the same thing.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he will get with the lawyer and have him, I'll just call him back and let him know you guys are basically requiring the same thing. Okay. The excavator is going to be delivered to Wichita January 17th by the manufacturer.
All right.
So they already have one of our attachments. Hopefully they'll have both of them then, and then we'll get it all
Great.
in January. So I did approach.
So they don't deliver that to here?
Yeah. They're gonna look good.
It's delivered. It's delivered. I'm saying
Okay,
yes.
so that's what you got now.
Yeah, it's delivered to Wichita to the dealership, January 17th. He said that they already have one of our attachments sitting there that they're holding in the warehouse, but they're waiting for the whole machine. So I did get with Kingman on a cost share with that Hall Bridge that we turned into culverts, and they are going to send us a check for $6,407.32.
Thanks for doing that.
Any more on the shoe fly deal on the, what is it, Zimmerman?
So December 20th is when KDOT was supposed to announce their projects
Okay.
for that, and I haven't received an email yet, so I'm waiting on that. But I will. Do you remember which side was that, north or south side, that they were wanting to do the shoe fly on?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that we ever discussed it.
Okay. And I will get with Mike and Damien on that one. Because he hasn't.
I'm assuming Kingman's really happy just putting a pipe in there instead of putting a branch in it.
Oh yeah, because they said they would
Saves us
do
all money.
a cost share with us, no matter what we did, but.
Yeah, that's by far better.
Right, the overall cost of the project was $11,797.
And how much was the bridge gonna be?
Way more.
Yeah, like 200,000 or
At
more?
least, yeah. Speaking of bridges, so Singer Bridge, I know we've talked about it 800 times, but I printed out these pictures so you guys can see what was wrong with it. I think we're going to pursue just fixing that cap and that piling stuff versus tearing it out, and there's a couple deck boards that need replaced up top.
Whichever way is cheapest.
And I think that's gonna be the cheapest and fastest, so we just discussed it again this morning before Mike left. And that's what we talked about. This is all on the same side too, so they would have to rip up these deck boards to get to this cap anyway. So we're gonna do that.
Works for me.
That's how much water, how tall it is, so,
Well, the Catherine is not too much taller than that.
Right,
but it's, whichever way is cheapest.
The one east of mine? Really?
Yeah, barely on the
There's a
ground.
lot of water going through it, right?
right, well, that's the north side, and it's kinda short right there, but when you get back a ways, that channel's really deep, so.
I just want to spend more money on it, whatever the cheapest way is.
Well, I think that's the cheapest way right there.
Because the road is not used.
Right. We had P307 was in a deer hit not that long ago, a couple months ago, and our insurance totaled it out. So Mike has been talking to K-Camp and having Amy talk to K-Camp about buying it back, and they just wanted to.
We've already signed that.
Okay, well, I was told to ask you guys about it, run it by you guys today, as far as buying it back to use for parts. I'm not sure that we can operate it with a salvage title.
Oh, the county can, our insurance won't allow us?
I'm not sure. That's the thing I would have to ask Amy as far
Why
as the
can't we
salvage
run a
title.
Why can't we run a salvage title?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amy will be here later, because we already
Yeah.
signed the title.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, an individual can, but I don't know about it.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about the liability issues as far as government insurance goes. So that's a question for Amy if you guys are talking to her later. And I think that's all. I
Amy
have.
said we can buy it back.
Right, well, as far as,
Use it?
using it for parts or using it as a truck.
She said she'd make us a deal, so we can buy it back, she said.
Yeah, and it's just the
If we drive it.
drivability issue. Can we drive it or not?
Can we drive it, Amy?
But we do have, I mean, it's one of our 2004s and we have 6 of them like that. So as a parts truck, it's still pretty valuable for us. Here is
Yeah,
the
the stuff was like it.
project list.
Hey, Amy, can we drive it?
She's checking.
Yeah, that's awesome,
Start thinking it's like about the Starship Enterprise.
Then yes, Amy. Amy said, I suppose, if the mechanics can get it in good shape.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay,
That'd be the cheapest thing we can get hold of.
okay.
Don't you agree? Or you don't wanna buy it back?
I don't know, actually, I bet it is, yeah, it's just the front end, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's because the fix was just so expensive. I don't know that it was
To make it perfect again, back to
right.
the standards.
Yeah, because of the value of it being
And
a
he says we
2004.
And he says we can at least use it for parts, so I don't know what the tires, you know, that look like.
I think the tires are pretty new on it, which is why they were
Can you
really.
tell us what the number was, if they would buy it back for again, do you remember what we was buying it back?
I
what was
don't
it sold
have the
for?
number.
It wasn't much.
$3,000 or something, Amy says that this is what Mike wanted,
Yeah,
so. I'd say, let's figure out the price on it, let's go from there.
Mike gets one back.
No.
yeah, and as far as I know, yeah, we don't have.
I mean, these tires, if they're pretty new, what are they, $250 a piece now?
Right,
For
pretty
tires?
much 250 for the truck tires, yeah.
Looks like your list is getting better all the time.
Trying, we do have a lot that we need to add material to. We
Some
also need
material.
somebody in those pits pushing material right now, so. it's
Yeah,
kind
we're working
of-
on that.
Yeah, where we're at with that.
What-
Eagle, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Eagle Road, they finished that, that 1 mile that we had discussed. He is gonna go ahead and rip and basically reclaim that 20 to 50 area.
Okay, well, I'm okay with that.
Needs rain, all of it needs rain.
All of
Yeah,
it
I'm
needs
good- I'm
rain,
good
for
with it.
sure.
Cause I still say that it's good.
Yeah.
They are working on pilot knob starting today. We did add pilot knob over here to the ditch list as well. They're gonna ditch it as well as redo that mile.
I'm good with that too. Guess we'll be doing that stuff right now, cause believe me, there's plenty of drive to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It may be a little bad, I mean, until we get some moisture, it'll be bad, but when it rains, it'll be really good, so.
Okay, and I think everything else is,
What's the question mark on Caleb Cove?
well, so we approved that, but he hasn't done it yet.
Oh.
And he's not quite sure on the timeline, so.
But Cameron did his.
Cameron did his and got re-inspected and he's good to go, so.
You did order that welder?
I did order the welder. Yeah, so it's looking.
Looking back on that, I wish we would've went the other way with the $100 one. You know why? I'll tell you why, cause we could've got a feeder head to put on that and use MIG instead of arc, and it'd been 10 times faster.
How's that work out in the wind?
Well, you get flux core. I talked to a guy the other day, and he said that's what they used to use MIGs.
You like that flux core stuff though? My brother always brags about how he thinks that is, but I never thought of it.
It's gotta be better than what it was when I ran it.
Well, yeah, when I ran it last, I thought, no way.
But that's been 25 years ago.
Mine fell at least 10, 15 years ago, so. But my
But
brother says that's the
as
stuff.
far as getting something done, that wire feed's gonna do 10 times one day what arc is
Yeah, well, we got what we got, so.
until next year.
But if you don't have that, I mean, you can't even weld up in 5 mile an hour.
Flux core you
wind.
can though.
Huh?
Flux core.
I know you can, but if you don't have that,
Right.
you're screwed.
I don't know, we used one on my combine the other day, which was down a bend, but there's gonna be ways you can use it. I'm just saying that one day with a wire feed, we go get how
Oh,
much
yeah.
more done
Yeah.
compared to arc in one day. Will you use one day or not?
Wages now. Like-
That guy-
If he used it on his combine, he was,
Oh, I got you.
I go back and think about it after we did it.
full of regrets.
I hardly ever use my arc welder anymore.
I-
I have no reason to.
But if you're looking at speed, get something done, you need to roll. Put that wire feed on the buck of the excavator and
Go ahead. All right, We've done with Sheena, guys, any questions for her?
All I have,
Thank you, Sheena.
Okay.
Thanks for this.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. You guys get a lot done. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What do you run, 835?
Back already. So I do have answers for you on that lease. I looked at the notes, found them. It was a 5206 edition, 31, 22, and 2 1036 subtractions. Got you the 14, and it was a rounding issue on, you get out so many decimal places and you come up with 14 cents.
I knew there was a reason.
Yeah. So department update, zoning, on the 18th of January, we have a meeting, I guess. We'll hold a hearing on those tower regulation changes. And also we have a case for a communication tower going out north here of Anthony on 10 Road.
For like cell phone type stuff
Yeah,
or internet?
I think it's cell phone.
Cool.
So we're gonna have a new regulation for that as well, right?
Different tower, it's over 150, so it fits in. Yeah, it's not, those towers are the ones we're looking at, they're close to homes. But appraiser side, we've got about 50% of our values set. We're running a little bit ahead on that, so that's always good. We have run into an issue on the commercial properties in the program we use to set final values. It's called our final value review program. It's just a add-on to our Orion software. There's a little glitch in there. I was about 100 parcels into setting values, out of about 500, and went to hit save and go to the next one, and it just hung up, glitched out through errors. So I contacted PVD. They're trying to work through it with Orion and figure out what's going on.
Did you have bad words after that?
I did, because I was wanting to work on it this weekend when I was with the in-laws.
No wonder you're saying.
Yeah. No, that's too much coffee. I figured out what that was. I counted how many cups I had.
Oh, you're going with coffee.
Yeah, we're gonna go with coffee. Coming up on the appraiser side, we're getting ready to send out letters to commercial properties here after the first of the year. And the response from those will be used to do our income and approach analysis. And that income approach analysis and who we send those letters to are hotels, mini storage, rental units, apartments, and commercial rental properties. So we use their rental numbers they give us and try to come up with an income approach that might be used to better value the properties.
Do you get good responses on that stuff?
No.
Okay. That's why I wondered how
How
reliable that is.
not until they appeal, and then they're good at producing it. Because I was like, give me something to work with, give me some numbers and.
Well, and you
without
want to
it,
be
pretty-
fair with it. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
to a certain extent, there's not much you can do as long as they're fair with you on what they're getting.
Yeah.
And you plug in the numbers, basically, right?
For the most part, I have the cost approach for a commercial property because we just don't have a lot of sales. And so if they appeal the value, I'm like, give me some of your information and I'll try to come up with a better value for you that's more appropriate to what you're using the building for. If their income approach, because of their rent and their expense, comes in and it should be a $20,000 property and I got it at 35, I'm gonna go with the 20. I mean, why penalize somebody for not?
Right. It's pretty tough in
Yeah.
Harper County because there's not
Right,
commercial property
right.
selling.
And I will say this, you're kind of hesitant to use that number because if you're just using an individual numbers, there's business decisions that affect that. But if you can get 3 or 4 or get half a dozen to a dozen of rental properties to turn in their information, then you can say, okay, that you can use all those numbers and come with an average and be like, okay, that you take out the personal business decisions at that point. So.
Well, what about the new buildings on Anthony's Main Street? How are you looking at those? Are you still going? I mean, at one point, wasn't it by cost to be built? Yeah, wasn't it by that? And then so
and
where are we at now?
they're still probably at cost. They really haven't sold. I mean, the sales they've done have been between banks. And so, you're probably, I don't know. I would have to look. I didn't get to those yet.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious how the values of those ought to start coming down.
Yeah, and just depreciation in general will bring those values down. Now, our cost
and the lack
values,
of use and the lack of ability to sell those.
Yeah. Yeah, and our cost value overall has gone up this year, and depreciation in a lot of areas hasn't made up for that, so our cost values are higher. Because when I pull the program up and look, I've got my last year's, and I've got this year side-by-side columns, so I can look and see that this property was, the cost was this last year, and it's this year. And it's up. But if you think about it, lumber's horrible right now.
Yeah,
Has been for a while.
I'd be pretty upset though. You know, because you go, if you're changing by the cost of what the current materials are versus when they actually built that,
Right,
that's way out of whack.
right.
So like,
But that's only one method that we can choose from.
right. Yeah, that'd be
And
pretty
the
hard
chance,
to do that.
well, the chances are, what I've seen, when we use cost, I'm talking residential properties here. When you use cost, you know, you got comparables, your comparable values coming in higher, your MRA values coming in higher, your index values coming in higher. So all your other options are higher, so we're choosing that cost value for less of an increase. That's where having the different values is nice, because you don't always use the same value for every property. You can step up, say if they've got, all the values are 15 to 12 and that one value comes in at 10% increase, chances are we're going to choose the 10%. It just helps soften the blow to people when they're not jumping up there.
So like in a building like mine, we don't pay rent. I mean, how do you put a value on something like that? Because I know.
When you bought it?
So you go back to what we
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
for,
yeah.
right? That's what value comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no way that will ever adjust on something like that.
If you got more properties that sell and your value starts inching up. I mean,
Property next to you sells higher, your property's worth more.
yeah.
But you can't sell them.
Well, I
That's
just-
the whole deal.
Yeah.
So you have to go by what somebody paid for it, and I wonder
Yeah.
how long that is a viable. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to learn how that
No,
works.
yeah. It's at one point the cost value will come in line, hopefully comes in line with what you paid for it
Yeah.
after it depreciates out so far, and then you could start seeing that come down on depreciation. But unless we have a market to indicate that it's changing,
Yeah.
you can't. The state frowns when we just assign numbers out of the air.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right.
That's a hard thing for people to understand is
Yeah.
you are bound
Yeah.
by the state to do certain things.
And I've given you guys heads up, but now that we're actually starting to set numbers, values are up significantly.
I've been telling people, get ready.
I already told them.
Yeah. But you know, the nice thing is that means that's going to be more tax base. So
Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah.
the mill levies could
We all
come
look at that
down.
different, don't we?
Right.
They'll let us pay that next year. I mean,
Yeah, it could, just depending on how much of an
but when
increase.
people, I explained that to them, when people
So
sell them, you got a price here and everybody selling up here, that means everybody's value's going
Yeah.
up.
The thing is though, it's gonna cost us more to operate. So
Yeah.
you can't just say, well, the mill should be, no, it's gonna take us every bit of what that increase
Nothing's
is.
going down either.
Nothing's going
No.
down. Materials do not go down. So.
Fuel, all that.
Okay,
The
that's
other,
the updates I got for you.
we have on our, yeah, we want to discuss this floodplain deal with you a little bit more. So I talked to Melinda, just visited her a little bit about, typically where that's supposed to be. And she pointed out that if it's in the road and bridge, that there could be some, problems with FEMA and when they go to build bridges, that they have to fill out reports for FEMA, I don't know, something to do with floodplains, and so there's maybe some problems there.
Conflict
She
of
said-
interest.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
and so you're not gonna like this, but she says typically the appraiser's office handles the floodplain administrator job.
Okay.
And I said, I already precursored this, you're not gonna like this, because you don't want something else to do, but how much time do you think it'll really take?
Timing wise, for the most part, it's not gonna take much more time. I mean, you're looking at a map, finding the location on one map, and then that'll tell you what other map to look at, and they're broke down in, I think, 12 sections, and then you pull that map up, you find the location. And as our digital maps come on and become official, then you're just entering site information and seeing it's outside the floodplain. Where you run into extra time and headache is when it is in the floodplain location, and then you've got to direct those people, okay, you need to go to the state, you need to fill out this. And then it gets in an email back and forth of you're helping them fill out the state's information, and so you're like, well, they'll call you back and be like, well, what do I need to put in here? So it can get time consuming, but for the most part, it's not.
Well, and I don't want to pile something into your office, Matt. I guess my question to you is
Well-
going to be, can you check with your other appraiser cohorts
I can
across
tell
the
you,
state and
Kingman
see-
County, their zoning and the floodplain is human resources.
and
Don't
see-
ask me why.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Don't
Do
ask
you
me
know
why.
from other counties
I
across the
can
state.
call and
what
find out. I can get
typically
you
happens?
some, yeah, I can find out.
Okay, that's my
Yeah,
question,
call
is
around,
how
send an email
other
out.
counties handle that.
I'll send an email out to the other appraiser group and
So the
see.
septic inspections, Amy can go out and start, she's listening on the internet right now, so.
Yeah.
Amy, go out and start septic
I'm surprised she
inspections.
hasn't responded to that.
She's gonna text me in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I can
I'm not
investigate
sure
that.
that HR is the right department for that though, but that's.
So,
No, I, that's kind of a weird
No.
combination to me, but.
She just says, ha ha ha. Anyway, I'm just
You
curious
know,
if you
there's,
can,
how many counties out there, the ones that have it probably all do it differently, have it under different departments.
we're down to, what,
So what's your-
45 days or
what's
so?
your-
you don't sound like you have a problem if you did have to do it.
I mean, what's your opinion? I mean,
But I hate doing that. I hate sitting here and doing that to employees, just saying, hey, but would you do this? Because he's gonna say yes, because he's,
well, he might not.
no, he's going to, because in this situation,
Well,
when the guy's sitting there in his position, he's got 3 commissioners asking, hey, would you do this? Well,
I tell you no.
there you go, see? And that's what I want, is 110% honesty from people. I
Right.
don't want you saying, yeah, just because you feel like.
You're
commissioners-
obligated to do it
Yeah.
because your commissioner's asking to.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
want your opinion, that's what, I mean.
There you go.
Okay.
That's, I want that atmosphere more than the guy
Sure.
feeling like they have to take it on.
Yep.
Like I said, yes, man, that's a good idea. So what your opinion?
Easy.
Yeah.
man.
You
No,
know, I will say this.
Oh, sure.
It, you know, you guys weren't here, but when we lost Kitty,
Yeah.
we had the 2 girls in my office step up, and I even stepped up and took on some of the responsibility that Kitty had on personal property. We absorbed a position between 3 people. Then when I got the administrator, or got the appraiser position, I had to take on those responsibilities, so the girls picked up what part of Kitty's I was doing. I mean, when it comes to setting personal property, the nice thing about it is it's that time of year when Deb and I are slower, so we can pick up that workload because Jackie's doing oil and gas at the exact same time. Now, Jackie, during the year, she maintains that personal property role, takes calls and adjusts for trucks that have taken off. But when it comes to setting values, it's all hands on deck. And, you know, you take on extra roles, and then, to be right honest with you, they took on extra work and didn't get paid anymore.
And see, that's where I'm at. I know that you guys are down to
Yeah.
bare bones
And, I mean,
staffing.
that
Which is, and I appreciate you guys doing that, Matt. Don't
That-
get me wrong. I think that's helped us out budget-wise.
And if I'm not mistaken, there was actually a raise given about that time across the board, and the girls in my office did not get that raise either.
How did they know?
I don't know.
When was
I
that?
wasn't in this position. I was just an office worker, but I thought I
If it was
remember
across
Anna
the
saying,
board, they should have gotten that same percentage as everybody else. We'll have to have Amy go back and look and see how that worked, but
Yeah.
was that 2 years ago?
I would have to go back and look.
At least that.
At least that,
One, or what happened?
because I know Anna came in and said, "Look, they're doing more work. They need more pay," and that was rejected. And I think maybe they did get the little bump.
If it was across the board, it should have been everybody.
But I don't even know, maybe there wasn't even an across the board jump, but just be careful when you're giving across the board raises, because I know I got bumped to the zoning administrator
Yeah.
and then didn't get an across the board raise. I do know that happened. So, just a FYI, when you're asking people to take on more work,
Amy says anything across the board was received by every employee.
I don't think mine was, because your deal was I got bumped because I became zoning administrator.
Okay.
What's the deal with her?
I mean, I'm not saying go back and correct it.
And she
I'm
says you did
fine
not
with
get a raise
correcting
when Kitty left. There was no
Yeah,
change in pay
no,
there.
yeah, I knew
No,
that.
And that was because we knew that we had to start not hiring positions back to make that budget
Right.
work back then.
But then here, you're on the backside, you take people to get more work,
Yep.
and you got people with experience that have been here. There's Jackie when she sets horizontals, she's one of the few people in the state that can do that. That understands that inside and out. And so you got people with several years experience, and now you're hiring new people on, and you're giving them an increase. And I know you soften that with an increase across the board, but you got people here 8 years, and then you got somebody coming in that gets a 30-40% bump in starting salary.
Well,
it's just a backlog.
But the road and bridge guys, that stuff needed to be adjusted.
No, I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying it all starts to accumulate in people's attitudes.
Right.
I agree.
But if they were on that lower end, they probably would look at it different.
They would.
Yeah, it's
Kind of like,
there's not that living wage at $11 an hour. You can't.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. And but that goes back to what we were saying. Values are going up. What happens on the back end? Everybody thinks, well, mill levy should go down, but costs for employees go up every year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we feel it. We're the same. We're living in the same world you are.
Yeah,
right?
yep.
who's always done the floodplain?
Well, Melinda took that.
Melinda
But
took
who's
that.
doing it before
I
Melinda?
don't remember. I don't know that
I can't think of his name, but I
See,
think
Melinda was always here since I was here. So I don't
Well, that's true, yeah.
did the emergency preparedness guy have it when he had septic?
Todd? Maybe Doug?
Who?
Pettigrew? Todd Pettigrew was on dispatch. Did he?
I don't think that was
Well,
the name I was thinking of. But anyways,
Anyway, if
it's
you could go-
shifted positions several times, but yes, Melinda's had it ever since.
The floodplain is kind of like the red-ended stepchild. We just keep kicking it around.
So septic. At least it's found a home, right?
There you go. Hey, but if you could check with your other appraisal
Yeah, I will.
folks and
What
see-
about IT?
It's pretty technical out there.
He'd have monitors on everybody's septic system, so
So,
he wouldn't have to go
of
out.
the three commissioners, purple not it.
Yeah, I'll do
You
some
probably
checking.
noticed, but your pen had leaked in your.
Yeah, happy Monday to me, right?
This is not a white shirt.
I look, gel pens, you want to make sure you close them before you put them in your pocket.
That's why they make pocket protectors.
I know, but I'm not there yet. I got to work this morning, washed my hands, and I looked up in the mirror and went, oh, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let
I'll
me
check
know
into
if
that.
you can send me an email or whatever, let me know, just so I.
Yeah, I'll send it
And
all
maybe
up.
find out who did it before
Melinda.
took it
It
up.
may
Okay.
have been Todd in the emergency management bill.
It might have been. That would be the natural fit,
I know,
would be in
we'll know
emergency
that.
management, because you're talking floodplain, emergency,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll find somebody to do that.
Okay.
Don't you worry. Thanks,
Okay,
man.
yeah, I'll check in and see what other counties are doing.
All right, thanks, man.
Maddie. Have a good day.
You guys have a good week.
You too. Josh, how are you?
Good, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Yeah, I brought you a sheet of paper, but you don't need it now. That's,
Oh, you never know.
you never know.
Did
Yeah.
you just get that today?
Merry Christmas.
Okay, is it ready to go?
Let me know if you have any questions.
You
Yeah.
download all my stuff already?
All you need to do is sign in. It should download.
Oh, boy.
Very exciting. I don't have anything for Brian. I got new iPads on the other one though.
Here,
I
man.
said I don't have anything for you. But
Oh, no, I'm all right.
You
This
got
is
new
more fun,
iPads.
yeah.
I don't have a lot today. Biggest thing, our Samsara demo. We've got 6 vehicles on right now. We're actually going to pull all of our information from our CATs, so graders, excavators, everything. We're going to pull all that data in, which is pretty darn cool. We're going to have that for about 60 days on our free trial, and then after that we can either say yay or nay on it. Before that 60 days is up, I'll bring that to y'all, kind of show you what we found and where the assets are moving.
You haven't seen it yet, did you?
It's only been up for about a week.
Okay.
We had some trouble getting the two programs to play nice with each other. So our CAT program and the Samsara program kind of had to merge them a little bit, but we did get those up and running, so that was nice. We have a ton of information on vehicles like Mike's truck and Garrett's truck and Candace's truck, so that's been neat so far. But yeah, and if you guys have any questions about that, you guys are always welcome to come see me, and I can do a quick demo. But yeah, I do plan on doing something here in the next month and a half or so, just to show you what everything does, and I should have plenty of data to run through by then.
So can we tell on oil changes if it's time for that, or if
You
there's
can-
something going on
We've
mechanically?
already done that on the pickups. We've also thrown sensors on the pickups, and we can tell Jim exactly what sensor it is, and he can find it and replace
Wow.
So that was really, really cool. That was our first big test. That was actually on Mike's pickup. He was throwing a fault, and Jim was like, well, I don't know which one it was, and I said, well, it's 1-1 right here, and he was able to find it and hold it. So yeah,
He doesn't have any computer like that down there.
he doesn't, but Sheena's basically telling him what he
Well,
needs to know.
I mean,
Right.
they didn't have any kind of program or anything.
Well,
like
that reader off that OBD isn't as good as what this Samsara reader is. I mean, it's significantly older. So, yeah, but it's a cool feature, and yeah, we should be able to do that with graders, excavators, big trucks, whole shebang. So, pretty excited about it. The other two things, and this is maybe a little bit more Nolan, but with that new Foley contract, they are pulling information off these generators. We're porting that information into Samsara as well, so we can tell when the generators run, and when they don't run, most importantly, and when they fault. So that is big news as well. And we can get that all on one platform, bring it in
How does it
together.
do that? Do you have something tied into this thing with it?
Basically, yeah. So it uses a program called RAN, and like I said, maybe Nolan can tell you a little bit more about how Foley works with that. But through an API, just like we're using for CAT, it just takes that information from their website and puts it all in Samsara's website. So it's all where we can see it together.
That's handy.
So it's pretty neat. Yeah.
Can you shut off the vehicle from remote?
That'd be cool.
I was going to say, we could figure out somebody to really.
Can
Happy April Fools, everybody.
No, that would be kind of cool though.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we get locations, all the fun stuff. And like I said, if you guys ever want to come check it out, I'll show you a demo of it and the information that we got. But eventually, I will do something
Okay.
where you can see it together. I did want to have one late edition, our Nova Star, that was like Netflix, right, that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We got that paid for. We got the 2 additional licenses. He's calling in tomorrow, and we're going to install that. So we have the 7 full licenses now, which is awesome. That way, the 20 plus people that we have using it right now can all use it, somewhat at the same time. And then we're also going to schedule a training, since we have a lot of new people using this global search software. We're going to do a large training event where we just meet in the health department basement or somewhere and learn how to use that product better. Because there's a lot of cool features in it that I think would be useful to us that we are not using right now. And
Is it set up on a computer in the courthouse that the public can access that?
it is not. We could do something in the Register of Deeds though, like on those 3 computers or something with that. It's pretty neat. You can section it off, what information you want to get into, so we could give them access to a couple of files, or more than a couple of files, but a couple of folders, and they could look through those if they needed to.
I'm just wondering about, so somebody like Jason wants to come in and do a quick search. Now, there's some Kansas Open Meetings stuff that maybe he's going to have to go other ways to get it, but I'm just saying, somebody like him comes in, they want to type in a search.
Yeah.
There's a place, we could set up a place for those folks
We could
to come
set
in.
up, now again, that's tying up one license though.
Sure, but I mean,
So,
it should be out there for public use, just like
Yeah.
GIS and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I feel like. Now, not that they're going to come use it,
Yeah.
but it's available.
It's
if they
available.
want
Yeah,
to.
sure. No, I mean, that's,
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Kelsey about Kansas Open Meetings stuff to
Yeah.
make sure we're not violating any of that.
we've talked, yeah.
Okay.
So, no, that is an option. But yeah, we'll schedule that training, and I think that'll be good, especially like for some newer people to kind of get the hang of it and use it more, because it is really cool software, and we're already paying for it, so we might as well use it to the full extent there. Last thing I had was Bob's retirement party. Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. I meant a lot to him. So I've
Did you end up showing up?
No, I was busy that day.
I made it, by golly.
Yeah.
Took you in.
We had played a little game. Gina won the game. Gina's been here a month. Knew Bob the best. I don't know how that happened, but of course, yeah. She got the most questions right. Bob's wife came in third, so we gotta ask some questions.
Who was second?
I think Nolan and I tied. Didn't we tie for second? So anyway,
That's pretty good.
but yeah, so appreciate it. I've moved across and started getting into that office. So
Cool.
if you need
Good.
them in there.
Cool.
Anything else, folks? If you guys got any questions on
Yeah,
those?
how do I get this off there to go back to my full screen or
The home screen or just the full screen?
full screen? Like if I wanted to look, minutes or whatever.
You mean, is it like mine, pretty much?
Well, earlier, this wasn't on here, right?
Well, no, that's your different emails
I know.
that you're going through, yeah.
But I had a full screen earlier, I thought.
Can you change the password? Okay.
How many weeks in a row do you have to ask?
2,333,000.
I don't know. I'll have a look into that.
You know what, though?
Okay,
that's
so
my
then
wife
how do I
about
get,
it.
okay, then how do I get back over
I
here?
asked my wife about it.
Just click on those, yeah.
Alright, see, I thought earlier it was a full screen, maybe it wasn't.
I think only on documents.
Okay.
So like if you open.
Like my email's always like
that.
that. And maybe that's not the way it's supposed to be, but that's the way I.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
I think that's the
Okay.
way it needs to be, that way you can navigate back and forth.
Okay, cool.
Now if you pull up the document, it should be there, but yeah.
Alright, thanks.
Thanks
We'll
folks.
get her opened up, we've got two, probably at some point.
No problem, come see me if you need to. And,
Okay,
yeah, thanks folks.
Alright,
Merry
thanks,
Christmas.
Rob.
Merry
Appreciate it.
Christmas.
see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Nolan, you're up. How are you?
All right.
Yours is, you sent out an attachment.
Yeah, there's
A couple pages attachments for that.
so
Look like somebody's been busy.
Been busy typing for sure.
had a few HVAC issues going on. One that I had never encountered was to have two bad thermostats. So I'd replaced the thermostat, nothing changed. So we called Hazel's. Bob came out and looked at it and said, "You got a bad thermostat." So I just replaced it.
Was it brand new one?
It was a used one we had on the shelf.
Okay.
But why we had it on the shelf, if it was bad, I don't know why it was there.
That's that works much better too.
So we swiped one out of another office and replaced it, and then ordered a new one, and everything's working fine.
Cool, good.
Is it something like you might need another one on the shelf? I mean, that normally don't go bad that often, do it?
No, they're about $180, $220 to have a thermostat.
How long does it take to get here?
Usually we can have them within 3 days, depending on which one's in stock. They're the Nest thermostats we get off Amazon. So if they've got them, we can sometimes have them as soon as the next day, usually within 3.
I'm a big fan of having whatever parts you think are gonna need on the shelf. That's just me. What do you feel?
If you think I'd like to be able to fix the problem right away. If you think I should keep one on the shelf, I will.
That's kind of weird.
Um,
I'm a big fan of having parts on the shelf, especially, I'm just, like, I won't say the word part, but we have a part for every part of the, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
We do the same, everything. I've got bearings for my dad, I've got bearings, couple duplicates.
because
Yeah.
either, with the way it is, you order it down, I had one, but the day you need it, maybe wait
Yeah.
4 or 5 days when it goes down.
and being this time of year, I'd be more comfortable having one on the shelf.
Yeah,
Summer we can deal with fans and open windows, but heat, it's a little hard to generate when you.
So with me, you talk yourself into ordering one.
So, the generators are kind of more Christina's area, being she's the one that deals with Foley for the maintenance contract and everything. I do check them, this one weekly, bi-weekly, just check fluid levels, that kind of thing, just so we have eyes on it. So that's how I'm involved with it. But Josh and I have been talking with Foley. With that new maintenance agreement, there is some remote monitoring available. Foley's Caterpillar program will mesh with the Samsara program that Josh has been talking to you about. There is no cost for Foley's monitoring, but there would be a mileage charge to have them come down and set that equipment up. Ballpark, they're thinking $400 to $600 to come down and do that. If we wait until the next service date, they would just include that while they were here to set that up. We have not brought Christina into this discussion yet. We were trying to figure out what was possible before we even branched out any further, so that's where we are with that. Foley has talked to us. They've sent us examples of what kind of information we can pull off of that through that program. That's as far as we've gone with it so far. The holiday hit, and we had gotten that information just before we all went home for Christmas. So that's still in progress.
You're pretty comfortable with the job, aren't you?
It's
Had a lot of
still a learning curve, but I'm figuring out where things are and how things all come together. And
I think the people are happy with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna take you a little bit, but yeah.
I've got one on the shelf. I'll replace the flag first of the year. It's in pretty tough shape.
And you know that rope on there is something that you've got to keep in.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
if that rope breaks, they've got to get a crane in here
Yeah.
to replace it.
And that's been replaced relatively recently.
Okay.
Mike had done it.
Okay, so just as long as somebody passed that information on, you, I was
Yes,
hoping.
yes, I am aware of that. That will be part of the order. When I order a replacement flag for the one I put up with, we'll order new rope to go with it.
Okay. I hope that made it through. You hadn't thought about telling me that,
Yeah,
did
get
you?
you along.
I've had a couple comments about the fact that it was really rough looking, and yeah, first of the year, I've got one on the shelf. I figured I'd put one up first of the year, and then have a frame of reference as to how long one lasts.
I was gonna say, your mom and dad probably won't let you get by with much like that, will they?
So
They're gonna keep cracking the whip on you. You don't have to worry about us.
it wasn't them that mentioned
Okay.
it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about us cracking the whip. You're gonna get it from all angles, I suppose.
So, any questions about anything else, or?
Well, your notes were long.
Well, I just try to document what I'm doing.
No, that's good.
Well, part of it I think is, well, like I said here, this goes back to the end of October, so
Yeah,
there's a
right.
couple months worth of stuff there.
For me personally, we'll know if you're not doing your job. I mean, it's nice to know what you did, but I don't know that I need 3 pages of, that's just me.
Well, but he can pass this along if he's not here forever, which no one's gonna be here for 50 more years, but when he's done, somebody else can have his notes. And like you said, I don't know that he needs to tell us. We don't even have to pay attention. Somebody's gonna let you know if he's not doing
He's
his
just
job.
making his own notes for his own peace of mind.
Yeah, but for me personally, I trust what you're doing, because if you're not, somebody's gonna tell us you're not doing what you're doing. I mean, it gets back to us somehow or other.
Okay. Well, I will try and continue to provide you with something in this format,
That's
but
That's fine. Yeah.
maybe not as detailed.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great right here.
We got a lot of faith in you. Everything looking good.
Yeah, so.
Hopefully things will be back to normal here in the next week or so when Leslie gets back.
Okay.
She's been out with sick kids, and
Yeah, welcome to the club. We know.
so,
Yeah.
so I've been covering as much of her job as I can in addition to mine. So
So, well, thank you, Nolan. You guys have any questions for us?
No.
Yeah,
We're
Good job.
Thank you, Nolan.
you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your work.
Who's Jan?
And
Guys want to take a quick break? What are you doing, Jan?
go to Shonda.
Yeah, mine won't be very
Well,
long.
let's do Sean.
Let's do it.
It may take longer than you think.
Well, it might.
Jeff gets asking questions.
Oh, yeah.
We're all running along with it.
You've got the request.
Yes, so, yes.
Chasing rabbits. Okay.
Here's the request for proposal for the official newspaper for the 2020 year. I don't know if you guys have a chance to look over it?
No, I did, yeah. I did.
Okay.
There's one correction I saw right off.
Okay.
So the notice of request for proposals for, it should be official county newspaper, I think, on that. So a little
Well,
bit.
we're at,
Right at the top, just below the emblem, it says deadline Friday,
Oh.
January 7th, and then it says notice. I think that's supposed to be official county newspaper, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Yours does say that.
No,
No,
it
it's
says newspaper.
yeah.
No, see, mine says notice of request for proposals
Oh,
for
well,
office county newspaper. Do I not have the same deal you guys do?
I probably just printed the wrong one this morning, so I can go with
No, you may have the right one. and
Right
I
here
said-
it is.
Oh,
Okay.
that's it. Okay.
And I questioned, and maybe it's on there, because I came and asked her to make sure, because we know the font sizes and all this.
Yep.
So,
And I didn't know I told her to visit you guys, I don't know if she did or didn't, but.
yeah, so there's this sentence right here, not to exceed 4 columns, right here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there was questions about, and I don't want to go through that again, so.
I'm okay with it. You guys doing good, yeah? You good, Darren?
Good.
We need a motion to go out.
So moved.
All in favor?
And this would be January 1, right? We open when?
Deadline's Friday, January 7th, by 5 p.m.
Yep,
So we'll open on.
She's got it on.
the 10th,
Yeah.
January 10th.
Okay.
Yep, and that will be sealed bids to be turned by the 7th at 5.
Okay.
So then I have one other thing. My niece is gonna be signing with the college on Friday, January 7th at 3:45. Even though I don't have any time recruit, I was wondering if I could take off. I would just, work through a couple lunch hours and so I could go to her signing. What are you guys' thoughts for that?
And that was on the
It's on-
14th.
It's January 7th.
7th.
Yep.
Probably I'll visit with Amy to make sure on that. Have you
Okay.
talked with Amy?
I have not. She just asked me on Christmas, and
Okay.
so,
When Amy comes in, we'll bring her
Okay.
with her.
okay.
Well, you're only gonna be gone, what? an hour?
2
hours.
2 hours, yeah.
We'll bring that up when she comes in with some stuff.
Okay. There are actually 2 places. That was the cover letter, and then there's actual one more place
Did you
for the
know?
proposal.
I did not.
Oh,
It's going to all 3, right?
Yes, I will get that sent out today.
yeah, I doubt that's gonna be a problem. I think early. Do you know what time that is?
Everything's at 3:45.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very good, son.
All right, thank you. All right, that's all I have.
Sounds good. Questions for Sean, guys?
No.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Come to, now Dan's here.
Jan, how are you, Jan?
I'm fine.
You ready?
Sure.
And there is an email
But,
from Conrad with demo and business for Jan.
Oh, God.
What do you
It won't scroll. There it is, now it's going.
Okay.
Is this for,
It wouldn't move.
I use my finger. I don't like using stuff like that.
Well, my shape's not
Okay.
bad. No, it's better to use my finger.
Oh, it is. Unless it doesn't want you to.
is this the,
Yeah.
That's the same stuff you emailed, isn't it, Jan?
Yes,
Packet? Okay.
yes. And
Oh.
I know we're short some money, but I guess my suggestion is, could we take some of the money we had put up for the remount that we obviously aren't gonna get done?
Well, but we also have some of that COVID money that we
And
discussed.
say in the ARPA money.
Yeah.
This is the company that Sedgwick County uses. This is the company that Craig used.
Oh, this one is?
They have, they do all their own service work, so they have a place in Olathe and a place in Oklahoma City, which is closer than most places. When he came down and showed us the demo, I mean, it was still available. I sent him an email this morning, but I haven't heard back from him, but,
Did you talk to Craig? Or,
no, Ken Liu,
Ken.
how
some
many
reason
miles?
they,
I
I've seen enough to lose.
now.
Definitely good enough for that.
Yeah, I can't remember. How many miles are on that one, Jan?
gosh, if
Did you send this back on email?
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. I had it on there.
I know, was it you sent it or did Sean?
Sean sent it.
yeah, I forwarded stuff to Chandra, and gosh, I think I want to say that he told me 3,000, but I cannot 100% swear to that. Talked to too many of them.
I don't know that I've ever been in the back of our ambulances, but that's pretty sharp looking inside this one. I don't know, all of ours kind of look that way?
This is sharper.
Okay.
This is the cream of the crop. If you were going to get an ambulance, only, which I know that still seems high, but that's because it's a demo, or it'd be even higher. It is a 4-wheel
I
drive.
was gonna say, it's a 4-wheel drive. It's
So-
got lock-in hubs though, right?
Yeah, and the nice thing is it already has the liquid glide suspension.
Oh, there it is.
Which, if you've ever ridden in the back of an ambulance, it's great when you have that liquid.
Yeah, I don't want to.
It's much smoother. ride.
I have ridden an ambulance once and it was not a fun ride.
Yeah.
The bed was about a foot too short. And are they all that short?
Yes,
That looks huge on here, doesn't it? Looks
she's
cool.
pretty big. Not 100% crazy about the red, but you know, you think what you get. Hmm?
The only question I had would be the mileage.
What about, so to use that COVID money, I keep calling it COVID money, it's actually got a real name, but ARPA money. What do we, Shonda, are you familiar with what we have to do to transfer that money to be able to use for an ambulance?
I'm not sure, but Melinda is coming in this week.
Typically, right, okay.
Mhm.
So I know that we talked about using some of that stuff, probably ought to know how to transfer that money. I have no problems with this, Jan, I just wanna make sure
Right.
that we've got the money set up.
Right.
This truck will be located in which community?
Well, it would probably have to be stationed in Harper or possibly Attica.
What?
It probably would fit in the Anthony station. It's a little big compared to the others. And then the plan would be if we had inclement weather, it would be moved to wherever the crew was stationed. We'd have to move it there. If we ever can get Medic 75 fixed, there is another company that does buy used ambulances and
Yeah, Mike, you probably answer this. Is this replacing one or is this adding to?
if we use the ARPA money, it has to be added to.
For how long?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I'm
6
thinking,
months
so,
and then we.
I'm just, yeah.
I'm
You're
thinking
on
so,
another-
like in 6 months or a year, then can we just, you know,
It can't be forever, surely.
No.
no, can we just get rid of one?
And that's the other thing we need to know too from Linda is
We're just, yeah.
how long is the, you know what I mean, Shawnee, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's also $25,472 that we had put in the capital equipment fund that we didn't use.
Well, we had the money there for a remount. That was.
That was 70,000 was for the remount, wasn't it?
You can make me get my paper.
Well, I'm sorry, that was my understanding.
So it will be red though, and then all our decals.
Yeah.
Can we get a purple one? I mean, I don't know if you want to.
I'm sure if we wanted to pay for it to be painted, they'd paint it, but I don't think we're going to pay for
I don't
that.
care if it's red, then our decal will be on it. So.
And when would it be available?
Well, he said that it was available immediately, so what, when he says that
We had for it 61,000.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
It's
probably.
like 61,000 is what we
Okay.
replace now for ambulance, spare ambulance. I don't know if that's remount or not, but.
'Cause this was here last week, wasn't it?
Yes.
We had it here.
Yeah. So I would say probably a month by the time we got everything done and
But if he gets it sold before then we're gonna wait till the next one. So it's available now. For
How much money do we have in that ARPA fund now? This COVID fund?
I think there was like 275,000.
We had 500,000. We used
107,000.
Yeah. We should have
That's what we intend that money to do to start with, was get
four
in.
that ambulance. Do we need to know from Linda how to transfer that and answer some of those questions probably before we make that call? I don't want to lose it for you, Jan, but
I know.
I want to make sure, because we've already figured out on that.
Well, she's coming in today, so.
No, there's sometime this week.
Oh, this week, okay.
We'll be able to make a decision until next week, next Monday anyway.
yeah, I'll get back in touch with
Can you
them.
find the miles out too, and then maybe get back on the agenda for Monday, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
because I do want to make sure we move pretty quick. If you can get with Melinda this week, I mean, it's a shorter week, but.
yeah, and I'll double check with him on the mileage and the availability. And, my only other thing real quick is I'm still working on that grant from the firefighter's assistant grant. And the only thing I wanted to add that we didn't have before was I'd like to get 3 handheld walkies that are do 800 and UHF both. They're about 1,500 a piece. And I'd like to get a kaleidoscope. It's a really a neat thing. the screen, so when you're intubating somebody, it shows you exactly where you're at. That's what all the classes use now. The best one's $3,700, but I just wanted to include that in that grant. If you guys are okay with that.
Yeah,
You know what you need.
so you're doing the grant right now, you're filling?
Yeah, they extended the date to January 17th instead of December 21st like it was. So,
Sounds good to me. I hope we can get this.
huh?
That'd be awful.
Well, we got Jason now. We got Casey, and we got Chrissa, and then sometimes April PRN. So we have people that could use it. I mean,
I hope we
This
can get
one's
this
a
for you. I think this ambulance will be what you've been looking for a while.
yeah, and we
We
just
just help your mileage on your ambulances, but one thing is, how long does it last before we can,
Right.
so we don't have. It's gonna be, eventually you'll be one you wanna get rid of, I'm assuming,
She probably already has that figured out.
yeah.
so.
No, fuck.
Either
I
that
know
or
the
you
one we
have,
want to get rid of now.
you know, you have 4 of them, you have one in place, don't have to worry about it no more. Just get the people there.
Well, you know, it's just like Medic 75. We can't get it fixed because we can't get the part. And that's the issues we run into right now. You cannot get the parts when they break down to get them fixed, and we gotta keep them
You
going.
have an ambulance.
Which 75 is operational. It's just we can't get that body work done to it because they can't get that main piece they need. So,
We'll have an answer for you, I hope,
Yep.
this week.
Okay.
So try to get it figured out.
Looks
Alright.
good, Jan.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jan. Yep, you made that motion.
Yep, make a move, 5 minute generator.
All in favor? How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good. You just stick around here over Christmas? Did you get some?
No, I'll stay home.
Why?
Glad it's over.
Why is that?
Sean, you're exempt, so time off really doesn't come into play until 4 hours in a day.
Okay,
So don't worry about your two.
okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Then I'll mention that when they come back in.
Okay, thank you.
We're back.
Motion to reconvene,
So moved.
all in favor?
Okay. The biggest thing that I have for y'all today is evals. We did get all the sheriff's ones done, for you to look at and go ahead and sign off on. Also, I attached those to your email to you, so you can look at them big if you want to. I also have the public works that we went over last week. We just need your signature on them. Mike and I met with the employees.
I like how you send this out separately because
Is
I can
that
find it so
okay?
much easier. I don't know about these two, but I think
It's easier to find.
Yeah.
Well, you can look at them when you have time instead of having.
so we don't need an executive session, we can just sign off on this.
Yeah, you can just sign off on these. These are the sheriff's office. And then these are public works, and again, you guys helped create them. So I don't know if you need to review them again, but we met with the staff. Mike and I did and went over them.
You can, I don't need to see it if you want to sign it, Jeff, do you want to look at the public works again?
No. I'm
The last page, they just
I'm
need.
sure.
You can do it. We don't typically sign off on it.
I was,
The fees, which she wants us to.
Yeah, since they're merit-based increases.
What?
I think you did a good job. So if you look at
Too, I do too. That's kind of what,
I still got questions about some of them.
no, I agree, I thought the same thing.
Do I need to sign all these?
Yes, please. You can just initial, I'll date them for you. There's a spot on the back. Well, there's not one on that one, just sign below Mike if you would. Sorry, I thought I put stickers on there. There's Mike's signature, on that one. Sorry. I didn't get a sticker on that.
I don't need to sign the date. I don't give me a date.
I'll date them.
A lot of papers to novel here.
About Amy, she's got to stash that stuff away somewhere.
I scan them, I upload them.
Put your one, just date them, sign them, yeah, I'm done. I'm not complaining.
There's only one.
No, there's two, but here's one.
You too?
Oh.
They did good though, I'm proud of our department heads. They did it.
I didn't know I liked it, but they did.
They did it. And next year I think will be an easier process.
Yeah.
Get more of them used to using the Google. I'm optimistic.
No, I'm not optimistic. I've got some concerns.
We'll fix them.
Yes, learning process.
Gosh, we're gonna get out here early today.
I doubt it.
We might.
Amy, are we gonna get out here
I'm
early
just
today?
gonna try real hard. I've got some things, but not a lot. This isn't a bad day. Just some things to try to finish up on.
I got a few things to.
It won't be my fault.
It'll be Jeff, 'cause he talks a lot.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
While we're doing this, just a FYI, Sean is exempt. So as far as time
I know,
off,
I know.
yeah, our PTO policy, 4 hours or more is when the exempt people have to start putting PTO in. So her a couple hours isn't gonna be a problem.
Right.
I just wanted to let you know. I was listening.
But I think in the future, she just goes for you, she doesn't even come tell us.
No, maybe, she wants to take time off. Since we report to them directly, I usually will give Jeff a heads up and ask if it's okay if I take a day off or something.
Yeah.
That way he knows, or just, I email them all.
Let him do his job.
Yeah, but for you, I mean, for the way that situation is,
Yes.
she don't need to
Yeah.
ask us.
Okay, the next thing real quick, K Camp. I did forward this to you. We did get a 14% increase. We knew that was coming. So I just need a signature on there that I can pay it in January. They're our liability carrier.
Okay.
I've seen it. Is it,
Again, we did know it was coming. They must have.
what's it take to go down?
Well, we've got to reduce our liability claims. We gotta quit having car accidents. We have to quit having
Deer.
deer hits, which, you know, it is what it is, but,
Where's the signature page?
oh, just on the front of that, if you,
That's
But if-
that's all I
But if there
need.
isn't that many claims, then it will go down.
It will go down if we're not using their money.
We
That's
do
the
need a
problem.
motion though for that. Annual 2022 contribution is $126,519. Can I get a motion to sign this, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
I also received from K-Work today our annual wage audit notice. And what that is we pay our K-Work, which is our work comp carrier, we pay them a year in advance based on anticipated wages, because work comp is, that premium is based on wages. So then what they do at the end of every calendar year is we'll go through and I'll give them actual wages paid. And then they'll either give us a refund because we anticipated more, or we'll have to pay it. So it just kind of depends. FYI, Linda Langley and I did some research, and the ARPA premium pay bonuses that we issued to the Sheriff's Office, jail, and EMS, the entire amount is approved to pay using ARPA funds, including employer benefits. So we don't have to eat any of that. That can all come out. So just FYI on that. That's a bit of a relief.
Thank you for that.
You bet. Donated PTO, we do currently have one employee using it. There has been a donation submitted to there. I've had also sent out an email to remind people if you're going to lose time, you know, that is an option. The committee members, the 2 out of the 3 committee members are gone. It was Ruth and Melinda and I. So I've asked Shonda and Audrey to join. So we have a group of 3 again. And what's nice about that is it keeps you guys out of that decision-making process. It's very specific about who is eligible and who is not. We pretty much go by FMLA.
I think it's a good thing,
Requirements.
because you never know when you might need it.
Yes, so, that's all I had. Oh, I did check on the appraiser's office, and I compared the increases that they've received throughout the years to one of our public works employees that has been here for years, and nobody missed anything. Matt did miss a cost of living increase. It was our 4% cost of living increase in January of 2020, but that's because he received like an 87% increase when he was bumped up to appraiser.
Oh,
So that's why that was, but that's the only, everything else matched.
So it was no 30% increase.
Oh Lord, nobody got a 30%
Yeah.
increase.
Okay. Thanks for looking that up.
Yeah. That's about it. Everything else I need to talk about we'll need an executive session for, and it is non-elected. Let's try 15 minutes. I think we can do it.
Darren, how much are you going to need?
Don't get sidetracked. I can do mine in 15, let's just say that.
Are you needing part of it too for personnel? No?
Some, but we'll see when we get 15, if not, we have to extend it.
All right, somebody will make that motion.
So moved.
Aaron made the motion to go into executive session, subject to be discussed with personnel matters. Justification for closing the meeting is to discuss personnel matters, not personnel. Open meeting will resume in this room at, let's just go 10:45. Will that work for everybody? Yep. All in favor? Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's over 15 minutes, isn't it?
Hmm?
That's over 15 minutes, isn't it? Just a little bit.
We're extended.
Okay.
Derek made the motion to extend for 20, all in favor?
You guys want a chair or anything?
Aye.
Be 20 minutes.
Did you say yes?
Aye.
Jeff made the motion to extend for 15, all in favor?
Aye.
set up your Gmail.
Yeah, you gotta set it up. I had to, or Josh had to.
Next up, nothing,
Okay.
No action. Sorry. I'll read these off.
Okay. All right.
Are you finished then?
I'm finished.
All right, so we're gonna go downstairs and look at, some things, right? You guys wanna go look at offices? Shonda, you wanna accompany us?
Kelsey needs to go with us too.
Yeah, she's gonna come along to record, but, yeah, we're gonna go down and kinda look at some office spaces downstairs and see what we've got.
I'm gonna put my hoodie on. Look cooler in here. Oh! Put the hoodie on. Yeah, my wife's been barking for a week. Coughing, can't talk. Went out and got checked. No flu, no COVID, no spread. Just sinus, ears, everything but. Maybe. I'm ready for it. Oh, it's been looking quiet around the house. All I hear is. That's a text me. So you doing all right? My daughter made the Kansas State all track shoot team. Nice. Her and Matt, she's a junior.